I am very curious if this is something most men know about or if your average guy just has no clue. I am a man who ended up getting reviewed in one of those "Are we dating the same guy?" review groups a while back and was somewhat horrified to find out that this was a thing. I was also clueless this had occurred for quite a while. Do most of you guys know about this? My assumption is that most guys are just as oblivious as I was, or they would be up in arms about it. I cannot imagine most guys are comfortable with the idea of being reviewed in those forums without their consent, but maybe I am wrong. Story 1. It makes me very uncomfortable. Like other guys on here have said, anything could be said, no proof would be required, and beyond that, being talked about in a personal way by people that don't know me is creepy, and it makes me uncomfortable. Story 2. Seems almost as common now as checking up on someone's social media. I don't use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I generally get the "so what are you hiding" attitude from dating matches. Story 3. Those groups are being sued for all the reasons you found out. There is no peer review on those sites, and you can be trashed for reasons that boil down to someone wanting to inflict maximum damage upon your reputation. I hope that they all get shut down because of how warped they've become, but that's for a court to decide. Story 4. I did not know that was a thing, but I am 40, so it is probably not a concern for me. Someone who would utilize a site like that is probably too sneaky and evasive to have a healthy relationship with anyone. Story 5. Honestly, anyone who takes what they read on those sites as gospel is a fool. The people sharing information could be sharing fake information. The people there can share someone else's personal information. Someone could lie just because they don't like a guy. Too many people are just plain idiots. They think because they read pop psychology, they know how to identify an actual narcissist. Someone could lie because they want the guy and want less competition. Some people just like drama and will lie for the sake of it. The moderation of these groups ranges from decent to very poor. The people could think the other person was the problem, but in reality, they're the problem. Let's face it, if men made the same thing and it started to gain popularity, there would be uproar. Story 6. As a guy, it is seen as a red flag to even have your photo posted to these groups. Some girls post every single guy they match with on a dating app just for validation and likes. I have access to several of those groups through a friend. Very few of the men posted have a record of being physically dangerous. I see lots of men ruthlessly picked apart and publicly criticized, and often by women who have never even met them. I've seen personal information posted like children's names and ages, employer name, hints to where they live, and one girl even took photos of the guy's house. The girl didn't post his house because he had done anything wrong. She simply wanted to see if anyone else recognized it. It is a huge invasion of privacy, and the few girls who commented about it were harassed and attacked. I also saw a few girls called out for posting men who they were supposedly talking to or dating. But in reality, it was some bitter ex trying to sabotage her ex-boyfriend's new relationship by trying to publicly accuse him of cheating. When other girls or the new girlfriend came to his defense, they are usually blocked from the group and accused of leaking the post back to the guy. These groups really are as toxic as they sound and are being used maliciously to slander and destroy the reputation of many men, even those who are not dating. Plenty of girls post pictures of random men from work, the gym, store, etc., to see if anyone knows him or has gossip. They don't care if the guy they are stalking is married or in a relationship, and it gets back to his significant other, who will then be told that their partner must be cheating if some girl is posting him to that group. Story 7. No, but we should get together at the next bi-monthly men's meeting and decide on unusual things we can do to perplex these women. Like once a month, just leave bed at night and go stand outside, staring at the moon. Do not elaborate further. Story 8. I am curious about the reaction of most guys, myself included, being so unconcerned about these groups. If it were a bunch of guys reviewing women, it would be toxic, sexist, misogynistic, creepy, predatory, and proof that men want to dominate and objectify women. There is something fundamentally different about how men do not protest at this kind of objectionable behavior, but women do. Story 9. My cousin was absolutely getting ripped to shreds by his ex-wife during a really nasty divorce in multiple forums. She made fake accounts and would start entire threads about how he was abusive to her and their kids, and that he had illegal relations with clients at work, he worked in a youth prison, etc. To the point he was literally shunned in his region and his employer was investigating him. They found out these were lies, accounts were blocked and removed, but the damage was still done. He moved away, but there was no prosecution for the ex-wife or the women enjoying and sharing these posts. Now compare this to how hard our justice system goes against men who are in exposure groups for women, naming, fines, getting banned from university or work. Story 10. I broke it off with a woman who I learned engaged in unsafe sexual practices that she concealed from me. She retaliated for the breakup by making a false post about me that also revealed personal information about me. Another woman, whom I never even went out with, I rejected her after texting a bit, as I learned we work at the same organization and I didn't feel it was appropriate. Took a screenshot of the post and spread it in one of these groups. I was able to get the post taken down by the moderators, but there's nothing you can do about these groups. Story 11. Sounds like all the bad parts of that overly protective friend group she has that tells her everything wrong with you, without the familiarity of actually wanting what is best for her. Seems like an echo chamber that will perpetually keep all women involved single just to manufacture gossip. Story 12. Those groups are toxic as can be. I'm in a couple and I can't believe the things I see in them. So many angry, bitter women in them, and the things they try and criticize guys for are mind-boggling. It's really strange how willing they are to put an ex on blast to warn others. I saw a post the other day of a girl from another state criticizing her ex. She didn't even know where he was exactly. She just heard he could be in my state. So she joined the groups and started criticizing him, showing screenshots of texts. All of them telling her he didn't want to be in a relationship with her in an incredibly rude way, all while she begged him to stay. Another girl posted a collage of 9 guys, asking if any of them had red flags, not seeing her own red flags in talking to 9 guys at once. Those groups are truly disgusting, and if you try to say anything against the poster, you're instantly attacked by every female in the group. Stop texting, gentlemen. Get back to actually talking on the phone. Save yourself from screenshots being used against you. Story 13. My wife informed me of their existence. She hates them, saying they are like so many other women's only groups. Incredibly toxic. She said any girl who defends a guy or challenges something bad someone says about him is immediately dragged and even muted, blocked, or kicked by moderators. Story 14. The double standard is palpable. If the shoe were on the other foot, Mark Zuckerberg would be testifying before Congress. There are no guardrails against libel and defamation in these groups. They should be shut down. Story 15. That's some American thing that probably happened twice in some weird place. Google's "Are we dating the same guy?" and it autocompletes to the largest city in my area. What the? I thought this was some weird thing that happened in one US city, and I come to find this is a global phenomenon. Not gonna lie, this is some psycho stuff. The good thing is at least I can't find one in the city I currently live in. Story 16. Yeah, they exist. Here in Thailand, I'm aware of the Thai girls dating foreigners groups. I think they are pretty toxic, but also it's like a clique of sorts. Sorry for painting with a broad stroke, but the women who are in these groups are mostly not what I'm looking for. The focus is on dating foreigners. I don't want to be reduced to my country of origin. Story 17. I actually received a good review in one of those a few years ago when I was single and dating. I wondered why I was getting so many matches, but apparently, I was considered a safe choice. Story 18. Imagine if we, as men, shared a network of information about how well our exes had performed. And if we needed to know whether we were in for a disappointing experience or not, we just checked the network and saw her reviews. If she didn't meet our standards, we ended the relationship. Story 19. PSH girl, his vibe was so, and his dick was little. It's basically every group. If these groups worked, none of these chicks would be traumatized. Story 20. All I know from them is whatever it is I got going for me, gay men love it. So much so, my ex deleted it because she did not like that I was getting a lot of attention. I'm what's called a bear. Story 21. Oh yes, my name and picture were put into one of those on Facebook, presumably by a petty ex-girlfriend. Caused some drama since I have been with the same woman for 2 years now, and the post acted like I was going on dates. It seems like a tool of the desperate, even if it started with good intentions. Story 22. I was posted to one of these groups, and please take it seriously. I was posted by a woman I told off when I found out she was married. Out of all the comments, maybe a quarter of the women I had any interaction with, it's a mob of hate. Comments from women going back 20 years, and I never stole, hit, or assaulted anyone. I was casually dating a lot in my 20s, just like them. You can be posted by anyone, and anyone can say whatever they want. Good luck trying to prove what's true or not. Lastly, don't have any loved ones who are women attempt to defend you. They will be doxxed, harassed, and removed. Story 23. I know they exist, and I think it's disgusting stalker behavior. It's one of the reasons I don't date at all. You know how easy it is for someone to just steal your photo, post it, and lie that they dated you. My friend went through this. There was a crazy girl who tried really hard to date him. She was nuts, telling everyone they're dating, that's her man, etc. When really she was a stalker, and when he got a girlfriend, she posted on that website saying he was a cheater, and his new girlfriend believed it and broke up. She realized later that he had a restraining order against this woman, but the damage was done, and he refused to date anyone ever again because of stuff like that. After seeing that happen to him and also experiencing how crazy some women can be, yeah, no thank you. I know it's for safety or whatever, but that's not what it's being used for. Story 24. I'm aware of the existence of them. I wouldn't be surprised if I've popped up in a local version since I only do casual relationships and often have multiple friends with benefits at one time. As is human nature, I'd be curious to see what is or would be written about me, but I've heard that those groups have a pretty toxic atmosphere, so I just assume it would be negative whether I deserve it or not. Story 25. I found out a couple of years ago that the city I live in has a few of those. The largest one is called Pricks. Literally just to trash the guy's reputation and tell others to stay away. Some probably well-deserved, but I did see a friend of mine on there, and the situation was totally misrepresented to make him look like a prick. Being that the non-local community in this city is pretty tight-knit, this group actually could do some damage to your reputation. I should have realized it was a red flag that the girl I was seeing was even a member of this group chat. Since then, I always wonder if I've ever been sent out in one of them. I also imagine if the genders were reversed, the absolute outrage that would cause. That's the world we live in, though. It is what it is. Story 26. They've been a thing for a while, like a year or so or longer. I remember a friend of mine who was a former Marine and current firefighter getting criticized in those groups last year, and I looked into whether it was defamation. I've stopped single-handedly dating in my city because of it. Not because I'm a bad person, but I've also been falsely accused professionally of sexual harassment. So the idea of people getting to say whatever they want with no repercussions is terrifying to me. Like, what if I had one interaction with someone, they were a bad person or an idiot, and I precisely let them know? This girl then goes and tells the group I'm a bad person or toxic or whatever, and yet my response was justified. She's now the one broadcasting to the public with her corrupted speakerphone. Like, you only have to swipe on someone, and then people go in looking for anything wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, whisper networks like this are valid because the original idea was maybe for guys that were married saying they weren't, but this group has gone way past, and that dragnet is now pulling the good men into it. Dating is so exhausting as a man because we're the ones that have to make things happen, and now we have to deal with this nonsense too. Like, what on earth? Oh my gosh. It's so stupid. When the lawsuit came from the Facebook group in Chicago, oh my gosh, I was so happy to see it happen finally. Those groups have become so insanely toxic and just made dating way more difficult and basically put me off dating as a whole, or at least it made me thoroughly change my approach, and no, I wasn't one of the bad types these groups gripe about. Story 27. I just find it funny how women always preach they are non-shallow and hugely individualistic when it comes to their taste in men, yet are we dating the same guy groups are a thing? Story 28. What on earth? There are not only groups for Atlanta but also for Savannah, Georgia. 44,000 and 12,000 members. I just know one of my difficult exes is in there throwing narcissist accusations left and right on my name. It's a horrible thing to exist. Your reputation is at the mercy of an angry ex. Luckily, I wouldn't dare date another person who's crazy enough to fully believe those groups. I doubt it even changes their choices anyway. if you see a guy pop up in there 6 or more times. Story 29. It's been around for years. There used to be websites dedicated to outing actual creeps and pedophiles who skirted under the law. QEOB and Dirt Sheets were the main two. Other than that, these groups are massive doxing factories filled with women who love creating drama and anguish for others, especially men. Story 30. I had this happen to me. A friend told me about it. It's disgusting. I am a photographer, and someone posted my Bumble profile on these groups. One lady noticed that I had photography mentioned in my bio, who knew my bio talks about me, and she said photographers are only there to be perverts. Everyone jumped on the bandwagon and started criticizing me. No one knew who I was, had spoken to me, or had seen my photography. It's all upset women who have nothing better to do. I asked a few of my clients and friends to defend me. It ended with my friends' messages stating that I am legitimate and respectful, and they have no basis for what they say. In summary, it's gross behavior, and if I found out anyone I was talking to uses those groups, I would immediately stop seeing them without hesitation.